US housing market in crisis while renting is surging. All right, ladies and gents, gather around. I want to talk about just three pieces here. All right, one, two, three. And these were by three YouTubers I follow once in a while. I see if their stuff adds up, and yeah, they make sense. And thought I'll summarize it for you. And they're in the housing market, renting market, basically. So pay attention. This is in the US, and this is real, no fake news. All right. However, take it with a grain of salt. And yeah, act accordingly. Let's start with this. This is after the Fed rate cuts. If you've noticed, rate cuts do affect mortgage rate and some other stuff to some extent. However, it doesn't really affect the credit card. Credit card 24%, 25% is crazy. The mortgage probably from 7% gone down to 6 point something. Yeah, can't even get 2% ever, can we? The Federal Reserve has recently cut interest rates by 0.5%, reducing the Fed funds rate from 5.5% to 5%. While mortgage rates typically follow Fed's moves, the market had already anticipated the rate cut, leading mortgage rates to fall before the official announcement. Currently, mortgage rates are around a two-year low of 6.15%, but they are expected to trend lower as the Fed continues to cut rates throughout 2024, 2025, and 2026. The Fed plans to cut rate. If the economy was booming, they wouldn't be focused on cutting rate throughout 2025, even 2026. For early 2025, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is projected to be in the 5% range, a significant improvement from last year's high of 7.7%. However, the video stresses that it is unlikely we will see mortgage rates return to the 3% levels seen in previous years unless another major crisis occurs, like a recession or stock market crash. 3%. The speaker emphasizes that inflation will not re-accelerate quickly, meaning that further rate cuts are on the horizon. For those looking to refinance, opportunities are coming soon, with the rates expected to remain low. Buyers should not worry about the rates spiking again in the near term. Regarding home prices, lower mortgage rates will increase demand, but this won't necessarily lead to skyrocketing prices. Instead, it may prevent home prices from falling significantly, which means housing crash canceled, unfortunately. The speaker critiques the Federal Reserve and the government for fueling inflation through easier monetary policies, warning that these actions could worsen the housing market and lead to hyperinflation in the future. For those asking whether it's a good time to buy, the speaker believes, I believe it's clear value tax, that the best time to have bought a home was years ago, but advises that now is still a better time than tomorrow. If you're planning to live in a home for at least 4 years, shopping for a good deal now is recommended. I agree with this. If you're thinking about buying for investment and stuff, that's a totally different story. But for living, right? Personally, I would want to get a studio, whatnot, for a living. If we plan on living there for several years or whatnot, it's always a good time to buy. So-called. I know, the realtors will always tell you that. It's not exactly always a good time. If the interest rate is high, now the problem is, let me just make an assumption, like logical, right? Interest rate, okay, 6%, 5%. But the same home that was $200,000, now you're selling it for $600,000. That's massive, right? And that's extremely messy. So yeah, this interest goes down, but you're killing me with the hyperinflation and whatnot. Hence, yeah, timing matters. But he also says don't try to time the market. If you plan on living somewhere, find something decent, right? Don't just fall for it, negotiate, whatever. Because there will always be a desperate buyer, seller. So if you just don't want to be the desperate, basically, entity. That's all right? So that's one. Next. Homelessness in America surges. And this is massive, man. America, so much of equity, so much of land, and we have so much of homelessness. Why? Why do you think so? It's robbery. I mean, dude, it's blatant scam, but it's totally like blind. People are blind, basically. You can't see it. If I told you government's property tax, everything, literally a Ponzi. It's a Ponzi. I don't even know if I talk about this right now, I'll totally get carried away because of stuff I've watched and seen. It blows my mind how energy, your green farm energy, so-called wind film, and they get subsidies from the government and they don't even deliver and they rob us millions of dollars. And because of them, the whole system, they raises taxes for property and this because they got scammed by some other dudes. You see how this whole, like, couple of dudes affect the entire system? Messes up for everyone? Illegally? The United States is facing an unprecedented housing affordability crisis and a surge in homelessness with over 650,000 homeless individuals living on the streets across the country. That's a lot. Lena Petrova, a very well-known YouTuber, global economist, highlights that the American middle class, traditionally the backbone of society, is rapidly disappearing due to widening income inequality and housing unaffordability. Homeownership has historically been a means of building wealth for future generations, but this link is now broken. As housing costs rise, a number of people unable to buy a home in their lifetime continues to grow. The video addresses the alarming fact that over 500,000 people are homeless, signaling a growing economic divide. On September 23rd, more US troops were sent to the Middle East, which Petrov argues is funded at the expense of addressing homelessness and other domestic issues. Why are we fighting someone else's fight, someone else's war, if it doesn't benefit American citizens? And I'm not saying go and bully some other countries or what nation just at the cost of, our taxpayer money, right? Like, it's just crazy. We gotta do something, man. Well, I know I come out as like crazy motivational sometimes. I can't just do things by myself, right? Unless I get to a decent following. But I'm just saying, man, whether you talk about politics or whatnot, we gotta take a stand. Please take a stand. That's all. Don't just give up to whoever just feeds us whatever stuff, right? Yeah, you gotta believe this. No, you have to take what I give you. No. The latest data from Consumer Survey shows that American consumers have never been more concerned about the future. The University of Michigan survey reveals that uncertainty about business conditions has spiked to its highest level in over 3 decades, particularly in housing and food cost. And whatever is happening in the unemployment space, I'll have a video on this shortly. Just look at the layoffs. There's a channel that's talking about layoff every single day. Massive amount of views. This layoff, McDonald's layoff, everything layoff every day. It's crazy. All right, last one, and then we'll end this. US housing market in crisis. Why renting is surging? Cost of living going up, cost of the food, everything going up. The rent is going up. You can't even live, you can't even buy a home because the whole thing is up. John Williams explains that America's housing market is undergoing a seismic shift as more people turn to renting. In major cities like Miami, thousands of vacant homes are sitting unsold, while new construction projects continue to flood the market with more inventory. Home prices have skyrocketed, making it cheaper to rent in all 50 US metros. Imagine, the same condo I was renting for $1,000 is now $1,500 or $2,000. I'm only renting because it's cheaper, so-called cheaper than owning, but I'm still paying double what I used to pay at one point. Isn't it crazy? Pay attention, please. Be aware. Despite high prices, the housing market is cooling as home buyers are no longer willing to lock into long-term mortgages. Yes, that's what we should do. Don't fall for the prices. Let them know that we are hurt. So don't buy. Don't give them that thing. More people are buying. All these massive corporations, they're buying all the apartments and stuff, right? And they're skewing the number, basically the digit, the price. Because all the people are buying mansions and stuff, now they're saying housing market, median house is what, $400,000? That's a starter home? It's $250,000. It's $500,000. My aunt bought her house back in almost 2000 at $250,000. Much bigger. It's not just a starter home. That's where they're living even today. $250,000. And now a starter home is $400,000. I still remember. Wow. Rising construction is expected to worsen this oversupply in the coming years. With new apartment complexes hitting the market. We have so many apartments and so many housing, yet there are homeless dying. And we don't know where the tax money is going. John discusses the broader economic trends, noting that unemployment is increasing, small businesses are struggling with high interest rates, and corporate giants like Meta and Intel are laying off tens of thousands of workers. Homeowners, particularly those who over-leveraged during the cheap debt era of 2021, are now under pressure to sell assets, leading to a wave of price cuts. Youth unemployment is also rising, with 9.7% jobless rate for those aged 16 to 24. This is massive, and nobody wants to work anymore. What kind of mindset is this? Imagine, nobody wants to work. What kind of future do we build? I'm not going to enjoy anything then. You head out, the one who used to do construction, they used to love construction, now stop doing it. Nothing gets fixed. The park you used to go enjoy, now is filled with, garbage or whatever. Why? Because the one who used to do the stuff doesn't want to work anymore. You see how this whole plays out, the domino effect, right? Video game layoffs. Nobody wants to create new video games. I'm like, dude, I want you to create new video games so I can enjoy. If people stop being creative and stop creating, how are consumers going to live, man? I mean, yeah, it's a crazy thing to think about. We all, even the creators, are consumer to some extent. So it's crazy that we creators are going to be creating for each other now. Man, the result is a perfect storm for housing where institutional investors are poised to acquire properties that small business and homeowners are forced to sell. You see this here? This last part is just a crazy thing to even imagine. And that's what's happening. Go to Richmond, downtown Virginia, places. Go to, and you can't build in DC anymore for whatever reason. So everyone's pushing down. North Carolina, Richmond, massive amount of apartments, complexes. Guess what? Owned by corporations. It's not a joke. I literally visited some of the places, metro areas, and I'm like, okay, wow. All right, this is real. So, anyways, ladies and gents, and all my friends, whichever timeline you are in, whatever, what I mean by timeline is whatever money you're making, whichever level you are in, doesn't matter. I'm talking about money wise, situation wise, not owning a home, renting, not making enough money, you're unemployed, whatever. I just wanted to go up in ladder and succeed. That's all. Okay. The only way you can do it is actually to be real. You gotta be as real as possible and just do the right thing, man. Just keep putting in more work and stop self-indulging. That's a reminder to myself. I self-indulged till 10 pounds. I gained 10 pounds. So I had to stop doing that. Anyways, I appreciate your time. Stay vigilant. And this is whatever I just put you presented. These were, I think, launched recently. All those YouTubers, I believe what they preach and put out there. And with my own twist, I research and I give it to you. That's it. All right. So yeah, for me, I believe this is accurate. Again, thanks for watching. And by the way, I forgot to mention, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.